Hello, YouTubers. Palm Springs Cindy. I am coming to you from a different place in my house. I thought it might be just a little bit different background. I'm actually facing my patio with my patio lights on, and that is providing the lighting for the video. Okay, well, as you can see, I've got my party ponytail on, which means that my hair was a mess and I didn't feel like doing anything, so I just put this in. And I have two things actually that I want to talk to you guys about. The first one is going to be the very hardest, and it came to closure today. As you know, I have been having trouble with Benny and Jet, mostly Jet, biting. And biting, the last time he bit me, it really was bad. So I really stewed about it, and I didn't sleep. I thought, even if I get a dog sitter, I have to tell them that Jet bites, and frankly, so does Benny, but Jet does it more often, more unpredictably. And I thought, like this weekend we're leaving town to go to family for Easter celebration, and there will be small children, and there's no way I could take the dogs, even if it was okay with everybody, because I wouldn't want to put anybody, in jeopardy. First of all, Jet is so cute; people want to touch him, and so is Benny. But because Jet is the one that is mostly the biter, I've had this on my mind. What am I going to do? Plus, I'm getting skittish of Jet. I'm like hesitant to pick him up. I'm hesitant to get him off the couch or up onto the bed, whatever. That part you've heard before. That's when I called the shelter, Loving All Animals, and I spoke with, first I emailed the director, who I had talked to earlier, and said I was concerned about Jet's biting. I told her that I hadn't slept. I was all in a tizzy about Jet's biting, that it was happening, and that he really bit me badly the night before. So anyway, she suggested that we talked a little bit about it, and I said I really think his biting has to do with his club foot, his bad leg, I'm going to say. Because when I pick him up, it has to mostly to do when I pick him up. And perhaps I'm touching a part of a vein, a nerve, or whatever, a tissue that triggers a little pain or something. I said, that's my best guess. So she said, bring him back to the shelter and we will have the vet check him. Maybe he needs to be on medication, whatever. So of course I can't do anything with Jet that Benny doesn't go along. So took him to the shelter, explained it to the people working there. I had already called ahead. And so at that time, I said, from what I understand, you can take him, you're gonna take him to the vet, you're gonna inquire about this biting business further. Well, at that same time, the lady thought I was there to totally surrender the dogs. And I said, no, that's not necessarily the case, that I'm bringing them here because, it was suggested that you guys would send them to the vet, whatever. So anyway, I did, they talked to me. They were very good, I must admit. They talked to me about surrendering the dogs. They said, perhaps it's not a fit. It's not a match, don't feel badly, that happens. We're here to make things right, to get the right home for the dogs and to get you the right dog for your home. So they did say, if you do want to surrender the dogs, you have a 4-day grace period where they will not be put up for adoption. We will keep them here, and then you have 4 days to change your mind. How does that sound? And I said, okay, well, that makes me feel a little bit better. So I had to leave them there anyway because of the vet situation. So I read a comment on my I read a comment on the last video that I uploaded, and the comment said something like that they saw that my dogs, Benny and Jet, were up for adoption. And then they were mean to, they were mean to me. Shame on you, whatever. And so I answered them and I said, well, you're mistaken, because I knew I had like a 4-day grace period. And so anyway, I went online and I saw their pictures, and they had pictures and they were up for adoption. So my heart just sunk. So I called Loving All Animals. I explained the situation, and I said, I had 4 days, like I thought they were going to be checked by the vet, and as soon as you could get them in for an appointment and whatever. Well, then he talked to me and he said, what do you want to do? How are you feeling about this? Maybe the dogs do need to be in a different home, a different environment, whatever. He said, it's not that you're a bad person. It's just that if you're feeling skittish about this biting situation, then, maybe you need to think twice. It's upsetting to you, and of course, no wonder. So anyway, they assured me that they would not be adopted separately. They assured me that there would be no euthanasia. They don't do euthanasia. So then they talked to me. They said, do you want a dog? And I said, I do. And they said, well, maybe these 2 boys, especially with this disability in the biting business, it's too much. And they said, we do have a little poodle, female, that was just surrendered to us. Her owner died, and she is also 9 years old. And she's very tiny. She's not a teacup poodle, but she's very small. And they said she is going to need a home, but she's not available yet. She needs to be microchipped. She needs to be given all of her shots or health checkup and all of that. So they introduced me to her, and so that it helped give me information. It helped me realize that maybe Benny and Jet would be better off in a home where the biting issue hadn't started, or maybe they could zap it and get them to, they were trained not to bite or whatever. I don't know that that's going to be able to happen. But I know that I can't live with the dogs that I'm scared are going to continue to bite. And actually, even Mr. Swoon, he stayed at my house while I was gone at my mother's, and he watched the dogs for just what turned out to be like a 1 day and 1 night. And then my friend Donna came and got him. But Mr. Swoon said that they continued to bite him as well. So, and he has 3 dogs. So, we're both dog people, and so this is all I'm going to say. I did talk to the shelter today, and they were very good with me. They assured me that Benny and Jet were going to be just fine, and that if I truly wanted a dog and I needed a poodle, I needed a allergy-free dog, that they did have, her name was Bebe, it's a French name, that they did have Bebe, and that she would be available in about a month. And that would give me time to think about things, and also to find some footing regarding my mother. Because as you guys know, that's the best time for me to adopt 2 dogs, but I didn't know my mother was going to fall. I didn't know that this emergency life transition was going to take place. Well, it did. So those 2, the biting, the dogs, my mother, it was just really too much for me. And so when the idea of surrendering the dogs was presented, was thought about, and the shelter people were good with me about, saying it's not the end of the world. They will find another wonderful home. They made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And now I can really focus on my mother and be there for her which of course I'm going to be anyway, but now I don't have to worry about who's going to take the dogs, especially when they're biters. So that's been weighing very heavily on my mind. And I did want to share that with you because, you know, that's just the way it is. And I hope that you guys will be understanding and not be judgmental. I'm sure, well, that's all I'm going to say. I'm being very honest, as I always am with you guys. And so, you know, there it is. I'm just putting it out there. And with that, I did have another little story to tell you, but I think I'm going to stop there. Even after sharing that with you, my heart is feeling heavy. So anyway, I think I'm going to go on and hang up. But look at the way I'm dressed. That's how warm it is in the desert, even at night like this. Coachella Music Festival starts tomorrow. They have totally rerouted all the streets. They have all kinds of different stop lights. They put in temporary stop lights. It's, oh my gosh, you guys, I think it's so fun. I wish I was going. But I'm going to look online to see if I can get tickets for Stagecoach, which is like Coachella, but it's country western. I'm sorry, it's country. I was reminded that country western is not politically correct. It's just country. So there you go. All right, I am leaving. Tomorrow I play bridge. Saturday morning I leave with my daughter. That's the plan anyway, to go to my brother's house at the beach to celebrate Easter. And then we're going to also be responsible for taking care of my mom, who is pretty much the same. And she does have a new caretaker hired, and so far so good. So thank you for the prayers. Thank you for the prayers, the well wishes, the positive energies and blessings that you guys have sent my way and for my mother as well. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. I've also had some people, some friends email me with some just words of support that I cannot say how much that means to me. So P.S. I love you. Mwah. Until our next conversation.